football on YouTube. Can I get a Roll Tide inside the comment box? Hope you had a good college football Saturday. I know I did. A lot to dive into today. Today, the meat of the video will be about recapping yesterday's college football action, including my latest SEC top 10 rankings. Which game did you watch? Let me know inside the comment box. I watched Missouri. I watched Miami. I watched Oklahoma. I watched Florida State. I watched Michigan. I watched a lot of college football yesterday, and here to talk about that. Starting out with the big three, Missouri now undefeated after beating South Carolina. Miami the same after beating Florida behind Carson Beck, and then John Mateer and Oklahoma defeated Auburn, in which I thought was a really good game. Not a lot of points, but I thought that game was really entertaining. Did you have a chance to watch that game? If you did, you know that it was tight. You know that it was highly contested. I thought it was kind of an old school game with some good defense, but there was a controversial play. And I know that you probably saw that as you're kind of scrolling through your news feed. So Oklahoma wins 24-17, right? But Auburn, it was crazy because following the game, the SEC put out a statement, right? You saw this. And it said that the statement on Auburn and Oklahoma football game, basically, I won't read the whole thing, but number 5 basically lined up. It was like after the play, he was going to sub out. Okay, he doesn't sub out. He stays in the game. He catches a touchdown pass, and the rule is it's kind of about deception. So if you're going to sub out, you have to sub out. So he's kind of like a trick play, and actually it becomes the difference in the game. So 24-17 is the final. Look, I think when you look to Oklahoma and Auburn, and I'll talk about each of the teams here in a second, I think the biggest takeaway for me is Oklahoma. I thought that as much as we've hyped up John Mateer, Auburn's defense is pretty good, right? They did a good job limiting him from really big plays. I think the difference was, look, you can point to specific plays like that, deception type play, but man, Oklahoma got to Auburn 10 times. That's 10 sacks, right? So you're not going to win it. I'm surprised it was this close, being that you're sacked the quarterback 10 times, right? I will say that Auburn does look like a better football team year over year, but I mean, does it come down to one play? Yeah, I know that equaled a touchdown, but you got sacked 10 times, right? 10 times. 24 people online. Let's go. We're almost at 30. All right, so anyway, do you agree with me? Do you think that Auburn is better than last year? I'd say so. All right, let's see if we can get 40 people in the next 5 minutes. Yo, Mateer, I thought he's good. Look, we're up to 40 people. All right, you have, do you see this yesterday? Texas. They defeated Sam Houston. I didn't understand this. I didn't understand why Arch Manning is flexing on Sam Houston. Like, okay, look, I was thinking about this. So Texas beat Sam Houston, San Jose, and UTEP. Those are literally their 3 wins, right? I get it. You could say, well, Alabama only beat Wisconsin and they only beat Monroe. Those teams might be better than the 3 that Texas beat. Whatever the case is, you know what I'm saying? Can you imagine? If, like, I think it's so unfair, like, talking about, like, a player like Ty Simpson. Like, this guy is, like, who everyone wanted him to be, and this is the type of stuff he's doing. Meanwhile, Ty Simpson out there building Legos and no, like, national notoriety. It's all about the name, right? That's how it is. So, anyways, Texas now 3-1 after beating Sam Houston, all right? Jarvis points out to the line for this next Saturday's game. I hope you guys come. Man, I think everybody took like a week off. Is now 3.5. Oh, yeah. Alabama's going to beat Georgia. And I think everybody's starting to know that. Everybody's starting to realize that Alabama will get the best of Georgia. So don't worry. Like, we'll talk about Alabama and Georgia. I just hope you guys show up on the next show. Dabo Swinney certainly on the hot seat, right? Actually, he's not. I think that the thing with Dabo, they lost to Syracuse. They're now 1-3. You can't fire this guy. It is he's a lifer at Clemson, right? He's done some things in the past that will allow him to coach for a long time at Clemson. Now, it's getting kind of strange over there. He's starting to, field some questions that are, making you think it's a hot seat. But I think, who are they going to get and where is he going to go? He's not going to come to Bama. Yesterday, we talked about if he would come to Bama, like if Bama would be ever interested in him. That is way past. That is way past. I didn't see this. Cedarian Morgan, who is 100% locked into Bama, right? Who will be visiting Colorado. I don't know what the recruiting guys are saying. I'm sure the recruiting guys are saying, well, that's always been the case. He could go here. He could go there. He's 100% committed, but he's going to go. It'd be like this, all right? For those of you guys that are married, right? Everybody's that married. If you're committed to somebody, is it wrong for you to still go on a date with somebody for the weekend? I don't know. Are we at that point? Look, Cedarian Morgan could go wherever he wants. He could probably go to the NFL. This dude, yeah, exactly. Free trip, free date. Doesn't matter. Go explore. Go see what you want to see. I mean, Cedarian Morgan's a must get. 100%. He's the crown jewel in the class. He can do whatever you want. But that's why I'm saying, when these guys come out with 100% committed, it's just they're going to go wherever they want. They got it. People saying take the trips. 100%. I'm sure he's going to go, who wouldn't want to go to Boulder, right? If I had a free trip to Boulder, I'd go take it. But I haven't heard anything to make me think that he's not going to end up in this class. By the way, I think Cedarian Morgan probably be starting right now at Alabama. I know that's a hot take, but he probably would. He's that good. All right, let me fly through a couple of these things talking college football. We got 60 people on. Yeah, let's go. Almost 70. How many thumbs up we up to? 10? 15? 20? All right, Miami now 4-0. How good is this team? Who wins the ACC, right? I don't know. Miami, I thought that was an interesting game. They dominated Florida. Lagway didn't even have 50 yards passing. They scored a couple touchdowns late. Miami now 4-0. Is this a title contender? Yes or no? Inside the comment box. We're talking about Miami. I don't know. Usually Miami is a team that ends up, kind of choking at the back end. I mean, they're good. I know that they're a good team. They're better than last year's team. Cam Ward in the NFL has been kind of underwhelming. I have him as a backup fantasy quarterback. He doesn't really do much. He had 2 points in fantasy and then 8. Carson back, he's doing pretty good. They got some dangerous wide receivers, right? October 4th, I think, will tell us a lot. Miami and Florida State play on October 4th. So we got a couple weeks for those teams. But I think they're playing a good football team. Do they win the ACC? I'm sure they have the best odds right now. But Florida State but see, that's the thing about college football. Nobody play you'll have one good game and then you have 3 games where you play absolutely nobody. Right? That's just how it is. I mean, it happens to everybody. And the way to make the playoffs is not to play tough competition. It is to play weak-ass teams, period. So the more weak teams, that's why I think Alabama should go independent. I've always said that. Alabama should just load up. They should play Auburn, Tennessee, but everyone else should be like Kent State, Louisiana Monroe, Wisconsin. Throw in I don't know, Virginia Tech. And those are the type of teams you play in order to have a perfect record. So really you only have a 2-game season. That's how the Big Ten does it, right? I don't know who wins the ACC. I clearly Miami and Florida State, the front runner, and then you have Georgia Tech in there as well. Next up, talking about South Carolina and Missouri. Did you watch that game? Yo, Lenora Sellers is a damn good quarterback. That guy, I've seen him on the run, throw downfield. They have some really good wide receivers. I'm surprised that Missouri won this game. And they're a pretty good team. They play inspired. I would love to see Missouri and Vanderbilt play. That would be some great TV. As you know, Alabama plays Vanderbilt, South Carolina, and Missouri. Who's better, Missouri or Vanderbilt? Sound off inside the comment box. Vanderbilt or Missouri? I mean, I kind of want to say Vanderbilt. I'll talk about them next. But, I think that playing these games is going to be challenging. This quarterback for Missouri, he's a lot better than I thought he was going to be. Super athletic. Pribula, he was the backup at Penn State and then ended up going to Missouri. He's pretty good. I think South Carolina, I anticipated them. If there was anything that I was wrong about in the preseason, I felt that they would be a challenger for, top of the SEC, maybe like top 5. They've been underwhelming. They're not that. I still think they're a good football team, but they've lost a lot of momentum. So now I think Alabama will handle them in Columbia. Yeah, I think Alabama will do whatever they want against South Carolina. Missouri, that's going to be a tough game. That's one of those games where you have to keep your head on a swivel, right? You gain momentum beating Vanderbilt. You gain momentum beating Georgia. And then you overlook like a Missouri, right? I don't know. They play inspired. Speaking of playing inspired, Vanderbilt football. They play fast. And as I was saying yesterday, they play like a team that has an underdog mentality, right? I think that this particular team, it's not hard for these guys to get amped up. Because everybody still views Vanderbilt as like the Vanderbilt of the past. This Vanderbilt team is good. I mean, shoot, they're 4-0. Who said it inside the comment box that Vanderbilt is a top 4 team? I don't have them as a top 4 team in the SEC, but they're good. They're going to be a challenge for Alabama. And, they have that like competitive spirit. So Alabama plays South Carolina, Missouri, Vanderbilt. I asked you guys inside the comment box who's better, Vanderbilt or Missouri. Vanderbilt. You guys say Vandy, right? That's the thing, Jarvis. I agree 100%. They play like a team that, right, they don't have anything to lose. All right, Arch Manning, Texas. Is this team good? Let me ask you a question. I'll post it inside the comment box. Be honest. No one can see your voting. Which team is best? Just answer it, all right? Which team is best? All right, I'll say Vandy. I'll say Missouri. I'll say Texas. And I will say Ole Miss. All right, so inside the comment box, I just asked a poll. Please participate in it. Which team is best? Vanderbilt, Missouri, Texas, or Ole Miss? Vandy's 4-0, Missouri's 4-0, Ole Miss is 4-0, and Texas is 3-1. But the thing about Texas, right, and this is why I feel that the jury's still out on a team like Texas, is they're 3-1. They beaten San Jose State, they beat UTEP, and they beat Sam Houston. That's like beating Louisiana Monroe 3 times in a row, right? But then on the other side of the coin, you're like, well, who did they lose to? They lost to number 1 team in the country, Ohio State. And it wasn't they got absolutely dominated. They just got beat. So jury's still out on Texas. Let's look at Texas's schedule real quick. I'm curious to see the rest of their schedule. Texas football schedule 2025. See how many games these guys win. All right. Go to this monitor. All right, so here's a look at Texas's schedule. As I just said, look at these last 3 teams. That's the thing that I hate about college football is that the schedules are just terrible. Oh, my God. Okay, so, now they're off. Great. And then they play Florida. Okay, so they'll win that game. Then they play the Red River rivalry game. Okay, so I mean, maybe they win, maybe they lose, kind of a coin flip game. They'll beat Kentucky. They'll beat Mississippi State. That will be an interesting game. I'd imagine they beat Vanderbilt at Georgia. tall task. Yeah, so these guys, I don't know. What stands out to you about Texas's schedule? Is this a team that finishes 11-1? What games do you think they'll lose? They'll beat Florida. I guess this game, right? Oklahoma? I don't know. Isn't Mississippi State? They're undefeated too, right? I mean, they got some games. They could lose some games for sure, especially if Arch Manning isn't playing like to the status we think he is. I don't know. Interesting to look at their schedule, though. Jury's still out for me. I don't know. If I'm voting in this poll right here, I guess I put Vandy, then Texas. I guess. I don't know. It's weird. I can't jump on like Ole Miss wagon at all. Maybe that'll come back to bite me. I don't think that they're 4-0. Mississippi State's 4-0. Maybe it's just too early. I don't know. Okay. Next point down here, talking Illinois. Who watched this game? I had it on the 4 box, right? I told you. I think you guys, everybody knew this was coming. Illinois, they're terrible. I think all these teams that we have in the poll would beat them. And now Indiana is going to surge up, right? The problem with this, what happened was, so Indiana, we'll pull up their football schedule too, because now Indiana will be like a top 5 team. I don't know why, but this team gains a lot of momentum. And they're a complete pretender, but you have to be careful because like these are the type of teams that will take playoff spots away from better teams. Okay? Look at this. Look how ridiculous this is. God, college football is a mess. They played. This is the type of schedule that Alabama should really have if you want to make the playoffs. You can't have a loaded schedule like that. The SEC just hurts Alabama so bad. Look at this. Old Dominion? Are you kidding me? Kennesaw State? Indiana State? Oh my God. This is seriously ridiculous. And now what's going to happen since they beat a top 10 team and they beat them 63-10. This is what, to get ranked high, you have to beat team. Look, they'll say 67. Oh, damn. And they're killing everybody. So the big score margin right here and the fact they beat a top 10. Oh, yeah, this is a top 5 team. Yeah, Indiana will be in the top 5. I think so. Yeah. They'll definitely be ranked higher than Alabama, 100%. And the thing is, like, I don't think that Indiana would beat Mississippi State. I really don't. So let's see. Indiana will now, okay, they'll play Iowa. I don't know. I guess they'll probably beat Iowa. Then they're open. At this point, they'll be ranked number 3. They'll set up this game right here against Oregon, and they'll lose to this. Oregon will beat Indiana, I don't know, 60-0. It'll be terrible. Yeah, Coach Smith is like top 10, not 5. Yeah, I'm exaggerating. I'm mad because I know exactly what's going to happen. Oregon will beat these guys by 5 touchdowns. The line will be 35. Not exaggerating on that. They'll beat Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland. They'll lose to Penn State. They'll beat Wisconsin. So Indiana is in the playoffs. So the Big Ten is going to get Oregon. Yeah, the Big Ten will get 4 teams in the playoffs. So now you have, these are my playoff teams. Okay, so Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana. Yeah, Indiana just made the playoffs because they're gonna be a 2-loss team with a win over a top 10. You see what I'm saying? Okay, from the SEC or ACC, Miami, and then Georgia Tech. So these are the teams that are already in the playoffs. 100%. You want to see Penn State's schedule? Okay, look. Look at this. It's ridiculous. Nevada, FIU, Villanova. This is the number 2 team in the country. Okay, next week they play Oregon. And then after this, look at this. UCLA, Northwestern. So they'll, at worst, Penn State will lose 2 games, right? Oh, Coach Smith, I think, oh, Georgia, yes, they will, Coach. Oh, Indiana will be a 2-loss. I'm telling you. That's 4 teams. That's 7 teams, right? You'll get 4 from. Yeah, you'll get 4 teams from the SEC and then 1 like wild card team. Yeah. Because I don't think the SEC will get 5 teams. So yeah, they'll take. Indiana's gonna be like, we beat a top 10. How are you gonna leave us out? The team we have to hope that continues to lose is Notre Dame. That's the only team that can take Indiana's spot will be Notre Dame. And Notre Dame probably wins out the rest of their schedule, like Coach Saban said. Oh, Ryan, think about it. Let's just look at that. You guys want to see Georgia Tech real quick? See, the problem is Georgia Tech, how are you going to leave them out? And the best thing that happened to Florida State was they beat Bama, right? I mean, you beat Bama, you're almost in the playoffs regardless of what your record is. Okay, here's Georgia Tech's schedule. You tell me who they're going to lose to, okay? Georgia Tech, Colorado, they beat Gardner-Webb. Woo! They beat Clemson, Temple. Okay, so you guys tell me. Who's going to beat Georgia Tech and how are they going to get left out of the playoffs, okay? They're undefeated right now. They're going to lose to Wake Forest? They're going to lose to Virginia Tech? They're going to lose to Duke? They're going to lose to Syracuse? NC State? Boston College? Or Pitt? Tell me which team that Georgia Tech loses to. They don't play Florida State and they don't play Miami. Yeah, and I get that it's a 12-team playoff, but the problem is you're taking more teams that could take away from Alabama. That puts more pressure on Bama, right? All right, and at the bottom, Florida State. I mean, this team scored 35 points in the first quarter. The big storyline is Tommy Castellanos, right? That he was hurt. He came back in. Eric D said Georgia Tech will lose 2 or 3 games. No way, dog. To who? Who? Have you seen, dude, Georgia Tech's good. I mean, that's a good club. So Florida State right now, buzzsaw. They haven't played anybody. They beat Kent State yesterday. They scored 66 or whatever. They scored 35 points in the first quarter, which is crazy, right? I mean, I don't know, how good this team is, but do they look elite? I mean, the last 2 games they played really nobody, but so is Alabama. I don't know. This is how I have the SEC ranked. All right. I have LSU, Georgia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Vandy, Missouri, Auburn, Alabama, Texas A&M, and Texas. I like to do the reverse rat poison to Bama. Who are your top 3 teams right now in the SEC? That's what I'm saying, Jarvis. Dude, 35 points. I don't care who you're playing. 35 points in the first quarter is nuts. I really hope this, Joanne. I really hope this, bro. Because Bama's schedule is crazy hard. Look at all these teams they play. Okay, they play LSU, they play Georgia, they play Oklahoma, they play Tennessee, they play Vanderbilt, they play Missouri, they play Auburn. You know what I'm saying? Mike G, what's up, man? Mike G has a good football mind, like a broad mind. He has Georgia, LSU, Oklahoma. What'd you think of Oklahoma, Mike, yesterday? You know, I didn't think, like, watching them that, look, John Mateer looked good. He didn't look, like, elite. And William, I'm interested in this too, man, because they beat Clemson and we gave them credit for it. But now we know who Clemson is. Still winning over there, I think, is challenging, but it becomes every single time LSU or Clemson loses, LSU's schedule looks a little bit more weak, right? Yeah, I saw this, Ryan Harris. Maryland beat up on Wisconsin, which doesn't look good for Alabama, right? Same thing. I agree, Eric. Like, low-key, you got to kind of hope that Florida State keeps, running it up on teams. What's up, D-Mac says, if Alabama's defense played like it should, Alabama. And that's the thing. Well, that's why we're so hopeful as we kind of turn the page to, this to go to this game against Georgia. If this, and that's why I think if this defense finds itself, because the offense isn't the problem. The problems with Alabama football is the tackle position, and I think teams understanding how to challenge Alabama defensively. Samuel has it like this: Bama, Georgia, Oklahoma. Well, call Samuel, hardcore Alabama fan or whatever, but if you look to the FPI rankings by ESPN has Alabama #1 in the SEC right now. And that's based on like roster weight, recruiting rankings, all that stuff kind of combined into one. William says Vandy's looking good. Yeah, I agree. We talked about that earlier for sure. Coach Smith says the picture clear up in about 6 days. Yeah. Dano says, I'm realistic about Bama. We played no one, so who knows? What's up, J-Mac? Wisconsin and Monroe are terrible teams. I agree. Terrible. Wisconsin is so bad. Oh, my goodness. It's me, Marvin says, get our offensive line right and we run the table. And that's the thing. I think that, like, what we've learned from, like, this first 4 weeks is I think the problems that Alabama has are correctable. It's not like they're missing components. I think the weight actually gets a little bit heavier on just Kane Womack. I think you can fix the tackle position. You might fix it with the freshman, Michael Carroll, right? Maybe he's the answer. And then it comes down to schematically, can Kane Womack, figure out how to stop a running quarterback? Because I think the players are good, right? It's more about scheme. And shoot, even special teams has been playing well. But yeah, this is true right here. You play Oklahoma here in a couple weeks, and they had 10 sacks on Auburn. And that's what I want to see too. As we start to turn the page to Bama, Georgia, how is Alabama's offensive line going to fare against a team with a pass rush? Because that might tell us everything we need to know going forward. If Ty has a clean pocket and that guy's feeling it, he's going to cook up everybody because he has the weapons to do it. Plus, we already saw and have seen how accurate he is when he's comfortable. But when he's under duress, how is he going to play? Because Florida State, they just absolutely came after him. What was he, 3 of 14 throwing on the run? Dano says shootouts all season. Yeah, I mean, this game, what would you say the winner of Georgia and Alabama, what would you say they have to score? 31 points is the winning team? 35. I'm definitely taking. Are you taking the over in terms of the total points? I think it's like 52. I would say there'll be more than 52 points in this game. I don't anticipate it to be like a low scoring. I would say like a low scoring game would probably be like the Oklahoma Auburn game. I think there'll be more offense in this coming game. Right? Yeah, I'll go with you, Mike G. Like 35. Man, you know, you look to defensive line, right? And the recruiting, that is always a hot topic for sure. You know, they've been playing this freshman, London Simmons, who's a guy that they recruited. He's a true freshman. That's a hard position to recruit, man. Mike Jones, what's up, bro? This coaching staff better run the ball, because if our running room keeps seeing Justice highlights, yo, we need to talk about Justice Haynes. I meant to talk about him earlier. Dude, who saw Justice Haynes? Yo, Justice Haynes has been on an absolute tear. Let's bring him up. Let's see. Holy cow. Is it that he has an offensive line? Is it they're using him? I don't know. This guy, look what he's done. This is crazy. All right, so you're going to see on the next screen right here. This is Justice Haynes in the first 4 games of the season, okay? 16 for 159 and 3 touchdowns against the Lobos. 19 for 125. Long, and look at his longest. 59, 75, 20, 75. That was against Oklahoma. Against Central Michigan. 14 for 104. The guy in yesterday against Nebraska, 17, 149. Yo, he's on pace to run for what? 1,700 yards this season? He might be the best running back in the country right now. No, and I agree. This is 100%, man. I thought that Justice Haynes would be really good and a quality individual. He just never really got on the field over here, and when he did, it was like we kind of felt indifferent about it because he didn't get a lot of opportunities. And look, if he was here right now, he would be the best running back on the team. We haven't seen Jam Miller, what he's doing, but Justice Haynes, I think, or that comes down to like, does Alabama not have an offensive line? I don't know. That can help run the football. But Justice Haynes is absolutely eating. Yo, 66 carries, 537, 6 tutties in 4 games is crazy work. Congratulations, Justice Haynes. Yeah, he's doing his work. And this is the thing that we're going to continue to watch, you know, under Ryan Grubb, right, as the offensive coordinator. See, I laugh at these questions, but there's a lot of people that don't follow the team as closely as us. They're kind of like loose, you know. They have other stuff going on, like life and stuff. So, like, Kosovo is like, he left? Yeah. I don't know if you're serious or not, but he transferred to Michigan. James Turner, what's up, man? This weekend, watching SEC teams play, the message is SEC is physical. The teams want to be Alabama's kryptonite. We try to scheme away from playing physical on both sides of the football. Played by Hughes says, if we run the ball more, Haynes would have stayed. He probably got paid a ridiculous amount. They said that they were going to be his featured back, and he certainly is, right? Reese says this, he should have been running back number 1. He's proved that. We didn't see him. Now we have a true number 1. I thought he should have been RB1 after that run last year against Missouri. Yeah, when he put his head down and buried that person, that was crazy. I think now, I mean, think about this. If Alabama, and Keon Sapp's playing well, but theoretically you could have Caleb Downs at safety with Bray Hubbard, and you could have Justice Haynes right now as running back. Those are really the only 2 guys I think that transferred out that have, you know, been impactful. And who's to say, look, maybe Jam comes back this week and has 100 yards against Georgia, which will be very difficult to do, but maybe, you know, we see the running game improve a little bit. I think it might be a combination of Jam not being there, also the offensive line kind of not being able to get a push? We're about to find out 100% because Georgia is going to be a hell of a challenge, right? And I need you guys' help today. All right, as you know, sponsor of this video is Sleeper. Get a 100% match up to $100, right? So let me ask you guys inside the comment box. This should be pretty easy. If you're watching the NFL today, okay? These are anytime touchdowns. So if you play Sleeper, you can do literally more or less. And you can make parlays. So, Bijan Robinson, okay, for my NFL fans, do you think he scores a touchdown today? Yes or no? Bijan Robinson going against Carolina and Bryce Young. Does Bijan Robinson score a touchdown? I would say yeah. This guy is an absolute monster. Okay, so Saquon Barkley, does he score a touchdown? For the Eagles, I'm going to say hell yeah. What about Josh Jacobs against Cleveland? I'm going to say yeah. And Christian McCaffrey? Yes. And then, you know what? This could be your little parlay right here. All 6 guys, right? I think, you know what? I think all these guys score a touchdown today. It would be shocking if they don't. The only one is like Josh Jacobs. Fam, is that our parlay today? We got all these guys scoring a touchdown. Hey, take it easy, Dano. Have a good rest of your day, bro. Jay saying sí. Claro que sí. All right, so definitely download Sleeper, more or less. And the promo code you got to use is tailgate. All right, that's my promo code. Available in 25 states, and terms and conditions apply. So definitely check out Sleeper. It's also really fun for fantasy football, which I'm sure you already play. I know Jarvis uses Sleeper. These are my notes. Sorry to burn your eyes with that orange. One of the biggest storylines as we kind of turn the page to Alabama and Georgia, and of course, you know, that'll be the focus going into this week, right? And I want to get your take inside the comment box before we end our morning live. Do you feel that Michael Carroll should get some opportunities at tackle? Is it too early? So I'll ask you inside the comment box. Do you think that Michael Carroll should see time at right tackle? Help me out inside the comment box. You know, clearly you don't go into the game and just start a freshman on the road like this, but I was thinking about this. I mean, when you look to like key storylines going into this game, I kind of think about what Caden Proctor was saying earlier this week when he talked to team reporters, and he was like, look, this guy gets angry when he's not put on the first team. This guy has confidence. There's freshmen every single year that kind of rise up to the occasion. Right now, look, as much as I want to root for Wilcom Formby, as much as I want to gas you guys up and tell you that every single thing is perfect with Alabama, I think the one area where Alabama has weaknesses at is the tackle position. I really do. And I think that if I'm going against Alabama this coming week, if I'm Georgia, I am absolutely coming after Ty. That is the only way. There is no way in hell that Georgia just lets Ty sit back there and be comfortable and pick you apart. There's too many weapons. Too many weapons, right? Ty will eat you up. He throws a catchable ball. He's accurate. He can move around. He has, you know, his wide vision is starting to come more into focus. So I'm not going to allow him to be comfortable, period. So I think that, you know, you see how Wilkins doing. You want to root for the kid. But at the end of the day, you have to put the best 5 linemen out. And also, what's going on with Jaden Roberts? Is Jaden Roberts, is this guy ever going to play to where we feel he could play? And same with Caden Proctor. I think a big challenge right now, and I don't know if anybody's saying it, but the offensive line, it could be holding this offense back from being good to being like elite, right? You know, and clearly, you know, Coach Kapilovic's not going to go and put out the second best player. They have to put the best players on the field. But if Michael Carroll, if he's matured enough and he's ready, and there's some point in this game where you need to, rotate some things at tackle, I wouldn't be afraid to put Michael Carroll in. We've seen it before, right? You kind of rewind to the past where there's been some changes at tackle. What was it? Alex Leatherwood came in as a freshman and played. Hey, Reese, what's up? Says everything with Bama starts up front, not just the O-line, the D-line too. Very good point out. Yeah, when you switch to the defensive side, is Tim Keenan going to be able to make that much of a difference? Whether stopping the run, is he going to provide some extra momentum? How is Bama going to send pressure with LT Overton, Quay Rusaw? Because, yeah, I get it. Yeah, you had 4 quarterback sacks against Wisconsin, but do it against Georgia, right? Yeah, that's kind of been one of the things, right? Is like the monster in the weight room, but it's never really kind of translated the way we thought it would be, right? All right, fam. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks for kicking it with me this morning on my Sunday kind of college football recap. More videos constantly going out, so definitely make sure and hit the subscription button so you know when videos are dropped. Please hit the thumbs up on the videos, and thanks for the support, whether it's super chats or you guys just being in here inside the comment box or supporting our sponsor, Sleeper. So you guys have a good show, good AM show. All right, fam. Enjoy your life. Stick around as more videos are always coming your way right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Pray for us. Enjoy your life. And I'll be back as news happens or just more videos throughout the day right here on Bama Football.